So in EA's most recent earnings call, they talked about their future plans for Battlefield and what they'd like to do with the next game in the series. They mentioned doing a reimagining or changing up the ecosystem of Battlefield games, and honestly, I don't like the way that sounds. I don't understand why EA and DICE haven't been able to understand that going back to the roots of Battlefield, going back to what made the series so great to begin with, is all the fans want. And honestly, with 2042 being the most recent game and seeing how bad that game's life cycle has been, really, I mean, yes, it turned around now, or at least it's starting to really turn around, but the fact that it's taken almost 2 years for that game to get to where it's at right now is embarrassing. And I don't want to see that happen again with the next Battlefield game. And hearing EA say this, it's honestly concerning. Now, don't get me wrong, I think, changing the wheel and trying to innovate on your franchises like Battlefield, like Call of Duty, it's a good thing, right? I always like to see, fresh ideas being brought in and everything, but reimagining the series again, I mean, we saw what they tried to do with 2042, bringing in a specialist system that, let me remind you, absolutely nobody asked for. I don't think anybody wanted to see a specialist system in a Battlefield game. Battlefield has always been known for having the class-based system where, you're part of your squad, but every single person in the squad plays a role. If you're an engineer, you fix the vehicles and you're able to, at least like in Battlefield 4, you fix vehicles and you're able to destroy vehicles by having a launcher or having, more explosives than somebody who maybe is using assault, which could be, the medic of your group, compared to somebody who's playing recon, who's the sniper of your group, and support, the person who's resupplying everybody and bringing ammo everywhere, and also has, a heavy weapon like an LMG or something. Like, everybody in Battlefield traditionally has had a role to play. That's the whole point of the class-based system that they've used for years, right? But to bring in a specialist system that tries to implement a type of hero shooter vibe like Overwatch or like Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, games like this that had specialist systems that Battlefield has never had, and let me remind you, nobody asked for. That's the point. I'm tired of seeing developers try and implement things that nobody's asking for, nobody wants to see in these games that are already established to have certain ways of doing things, like Battlefield. To hear them say they want to reimagine the franchise and reimagine how the ecosystem of games works. Now, I've seen some people raising some valid points about the ecosystem thing. That could be a totally different thing. How they want to manage how the games are going to be played, like maybe within the Battlefield hub. Like if you launch Battlefield 5 now or Battlefield 1, you have an option to launch the other games. So maybe they want to innovate on that or change that. However that might work is different. But when it comes to the base gameplay and how the next Battlefield game is actually how it's gonna play and the type of systems it's gonna have when it comes to your class, when it comes to weapons, and when it comes to just the way the game works, I don't want to see them, try and do something different again, similar to how they tried with 2042. That's absolutely the last thing that I personally want from the next Battlefield game. Keep in mind, I'm somebody too who I have never really been into the Battlefield franchise. At least I haven't been into it for that long. Growing up, I didn't play Battlefield. I always played Call of Duty and Halo way more. And I didn't get into Battlefield really until like the pandemic. I started playing Battlefield 4, then I got into Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1. And with 2042, I tried the game during the beta. I knew it wasn't anywhere where it needed to be. I gave it another chance at launch. I waited again until Season 3, then I actually got into 2042. And since then, I didn't really put a lot of time into Season 4, really no time. And with Season 5, I've been playing the game at least a little bit more. But my point is, I don't want to see another, trying to reimagine how Battlefield works. I really don't want to see that. I really just want to see them go back to what made Battlefield so great to begin with. When you look at Battlefield games like Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and I know Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1, both have things that divide the community a little bit, especially I think more Battlefield 5 than Battlefield 1. But even those games have redeeming qualities and have things that I think make them feel like real Battlefield games, or at least more authentic Battlefield games compared to 2042. And to hear them say that they want to do another reimagination, I don't think anybody wants that. I personally can't speak for the whole community, but I can speak for myself and a lot of people that I've seen on Twitter and on YouTube that say that they don't want to see this happen. They don't want to see another attempt at reimagining the way the franchise works. Just please go back to what made it great to begin with. I don't think it's that hard to understand. And I also can't believe that DICE, just doesn't know this. Like, they have to have people, in their team at DICE or at EA that see on social media that, people don't want this. People don't want to see another reimagination. They just want to see, the franchise and the series go back to what made it good to begin with. Give us destructibility, give us a proper class system, give us a variety of maps. And when I say variety of maps, I mean a variety of weather, variety of, there's no excuse now why we can't see day and night cycles in maps, especially in a game like Battlefield. I feel like that game lends itself to something like that perfectly. But apart from that, give us more vehicles, give us more weapons from launch, take away the, hero-based system, operator-based system, whatever you want to call it. Please do not use that again. We don't need that. We need the traditional class-based system where you have, recon, support, engineer, assault. Just please. That's what made Battlefield great. That's what made it work. That's what's made it work in the past, and it works. Like, there's nothing wrong with that system. I don't see how hard it could be for them to understand that. But yeah, man, I'm scared of seeing that happen, honestly. And when it comes to the future of Battlefield as well, I think it's something that is pretty interesting because I've seen a lot of people speculating what the next setting of the Battlefield game could be. I've seen a lot of people talking about Cold War. I saw somebody on Twitter mention the Korean War, which I thought would be interesting, but I really just want to see them go back to like a modern setting. Like, if we could really get something like, for me, I'd love to see the next Battlefield game be like Battlefield 4 2.0, like the next version of what that game was, because that game, as much as I love Battlefield 4 and I love playing it even now in 2023, it definitely feels a little dated, and it's starting to feel a little more dated the more I play it. But I still enjoy it, and I still plan on playing it for as long as I can, because it's definitely a game that I want to take advantage of being able to play Battlefield 4 while I still can, because seeing what's happened to games like Titanfall 2 and even Titanfall, the original one, to a certain extent, I want to be able to enjoy older shooters while I still can before the servers get hacked to all hell, if that ever happens, God forbid. But yeah, I'm still enjoying Battlefield 4 for what it has to offer, but I feel like the next Battlefield game for me, I'd love to see it be like Battlefield 4 2.0. But that's just for me, personally. But with that being said, let me know what you think about the future of Battlefield, what you'd like to see with the next game, what setting you'd like to see it be in, and let me know how you think about this, in the most recent earnings call where they're talking about reimagining the series once again and changing the ecosystem of the future of Battlefield games. Thank you all for watching this video. You already know what to do. My name is Nico. Leave a like, dislike, comment, make sure to share the video, and subscribe if you want to, and turn on notifications. Thank you all for watching once again, and I'll see all of you in the next one.